up. If you're late coming in, we've got on Tuesday, Brooks was moved to a new facility, and we're going to look at some photos of it and talk about it. I've got it all pulled up here. I'll stop sharing that. And I'll show you guys. And thank you for those who sent me this. I know Laura did and Callie Girl. Okay, Bruiser. Bruiser is so pissy tonight, you guys. He just cannot settle down. I know. He's excited that you guys are on watching with us. And for those of you who do not know who Bruiser is, he is a 5-pound little black. He used to be all black Chihuahua. He's now very salt and pepper because he's so old. He runs the house. He runs the house. All right, let's just share this tab. Okay, so basically what you're seeing here is the information of where he is. It doesn't put his whole ID number on there. But it's Boscobel, Wisconsin. Am I pronouncing that right, Tony? I need some of you Wisconsinites to tell me how to pronounce that. So if we go over here to, let me see what this fact sheet looks like. Oh, okay. Let's look at this fact sheet. The religions in there. Oh, wow. 27% Islam. Wow. To 8% Catholic. Let's see. The average age is 38, and the youngest is 18. The oldest is 87. 33% white, 60% black, to 14% Hispanic, or 5 and 1% add up. The remainder are American Indian or Asian descent. Interesting, huh? So there's only 70%, I'm sorry, 17% of them are lifers. But 52% of them are 5 years or more offenders. Most serious offense type, 91% violence. It is a maximum security. Only 5 are in there for drugs, 3 for property. So most of them, it's for violent offenders, which, what does that mean, you guys? What does that mean? 91% violent. Yeah, exactly. These are the bad boys. We're going to look at the photos here in a second. Cognitive intervention these are the programs they have. Anger management. Well, you think he needs that? I would think he does. Domestic violence, dialectical behavior therapy, thinking for a change, pre-release services, and substance abuse disorder. He needs all damn of those. Damn all of them. I can't get it out what I wanted to say. He needs every damn one of them. Let's see. So, a little bit about this place. They have a handbook and everything. I've never looked at this kind of stuff before. Let me see what it looks like, if it's worth showing you guys. Do y'all want to look at this? Oh, this one's in Spanish. Wait a minute. Oh. Hang on. I'm looking at this before I bring it up. You know what though, guys? He's not, I just can't see him. I cannot see him really defending himself a whole lot. I'm sorry. I just can't. He's a wussy. He only beats up women. This is what cell cleaning, what they have in the manual about cell cleaning. You're responsible for keeping your own cell clean and for placing trash in the proper containers. Cell cleaning is limited to 10 minutes. You will be allowed to access to cleaning supplies during weekend cell cleaning times. Oh, when do they do counts? They do counts at 3 a.m., 6:15 a.m., 11:15 a.m., 4:15 a.m., 9:30 p.m., and 12 a.m. Standing count 6:15 a.m., 11:15 a.m., 4:15 p.m., and then 9:30 p.m. A minimum of undershorts will be worn during standing count. You are allowed to possess electronics in accordance with the inmate personal property and clothing. They provide televisions in all provide televisions in all day rooms, which may be viewed at the appropriate volume level during the dayroom time only. Stations offered may not be the same as those available at other institutions. Music stations will be changed on a quarterly basis. I wonder if they have 90611 prison radio. Or a staff determined appropriate. Television channels may be changed by the institution at any time. Do not contact the program department with those requests. You are responsible for any damage to all electronics in your cell. If you are unable to plug all electronics into the receptacles provided, you will be responsible for purchasing a power strip or an extension cord. Wait, they have power? They have... John Bubba, are you still on? I might need you to come up, honey. They have plugs in there in their cells? What the what? You guys, I don't understand that. Hobby supplies, inmate complaints. Well, we know he's going to be reading that part because you know he'll be sending that in. What did it do? Let's see. What that is. Kitchen laundry. I didn't know they had to take care of their own thing like that. Now, this brings up so many questions. They have a law library. They have a law library. I guess we knew they did, huh? The law library will be available per unit schedule. If you wish to use the law library, you must submit an interview request to the third shift sergeant on the Saturday preceding the week of the request. You are required to attend as scheduled unless a priority appointment is scheduled at the same time. If you choose to leave the law library prior to the end of your period, you will be returning to your cell. If you cancel your law library scheduled appointment, you will not be released for other activities. Library books. Oh my goodness. Mail correspondence. Letters ready for mail should be placed. Let's see. Interview information requests and other forms are available in the unit day room. These requests should be used. Institutional meals will be served 3 times a day at the appropriate time, 6:30 to 7:30, 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 for lunch, and dinners from 4:30 to 5:30. Oh, they're early birds. They get the early bird special. John, Bubba, you want to come up? You want to come up and talk about this manual I've got pulled up here? John Bubba used to work at a facility. So did KC. I forgot KC did too. Are you still on, KC? All right, I'm going to put the link in the chat. Hang on. we're gonna talk about this facility. I'm gonna send him this link, and before John Bubba comes up, I'll show you guys the photos that I have so far. All right, there you go, John Bubba. Let's go over here and look at these photos that I found of the facility. This is what it looks like on the outside. It's nice. That's what it's. There's only a couple of photos, so they're gonna keep carouseling. But I love that. I don't know, guys. I always just envision like the old timey prison cells, but I like that they don't really have a whole. They got that big steel door there with a little room to look out. Is that what are all maximum security prisons like that? I guess. Oh, let me on my photo. Hey, John Bubba, hang on. I'm going to change the way we look at this.
Sure, take your time.
Good evening, John Bubba. How are you?
Oh, can't complain a whole lot. How about you?
I'm good.
Hopefully,
John
uh,
Bubba, y'all, John Bubba, he worked at a prison facility for years and years. So he's going to give us a little bit of insight. What you think
I
about this one?
well, I'll do my very best. It just depends on how the prison layout is, but I'll try to my best to compare it to Angola because that's what I know better. Uh, to try to help put it into my mental Rolodex, I guess you could say, so it makes the most sense.
Okay.
Let me see if I can increase my screen size so I can see that a little bit better on my end.
Thank you for doing this, by the way. Yeah, and I'll pull up after we
Hmm.
these are just photos of, but I can pull up
Ooh,
that prison inmate. Do you want me to pull that other one up where we were looking at the manual?
actually, can he? Is there a way you can stop it right there on that tier setup where those cells are, the big red doors?
Yeah, let me see if I can make it stop.
Okay.
I think
Oh,
it'll
that brings
okay.
back some memories. That definitely brings back some memories right there. Now, granted, where I worked at Angola, the cell blocks. I was Sophia. Please get away from Daddy's Xbox. Sorry, I had to talk to my cat. She was sniffing near my Xbox, and she likes to sniff the power button and turn it off. Uh, Now, the way the cells were set up at Angola on the tiers where I worked at, the areas I worked, they were all on one section of the hallway to where they weren't facing each other like that right there. But what they'll do right there is they'll do a method called fishing, where they'll like slide something across the floor, and another inmate might have some string or something with something tied on the end to hook onto it to pull it into their cell if the guy can't throw it all the way underneath the cell doors. They
Oh.
they would do that all the time. It wasn't not in some facilities they would sit there and throw them back and forth, and you try your best to try to catch them in time. But shoot, by the time you get the tier gate open, run down there to catch it, it's already long gone. You got to be like the Flash.
I was gonna say because it looks like you can't get anything underneath the door, but there's a little. Because look at how it's got the things on the bottom where they almost completely touch the ground.
Hmm. Sometimes though, if you get crafty and creative enough, inmates can make a way to happen. If you put an inmate and a regular person on a deserted island, the inmate will last longer. They know how to make do with what they got. They can be some very creative people.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's all they got to do is figure that kind of stuff out, right? That's all they have to worry about.
Oh heck
Yeah.
yeah! If you'd have told me 30 years ago you can make a knife out of Saran wrap, I never would have believed you until I started working in Angola. Then I became a believer.
Wow. I wonder what color. Well, I guess he's not wearing orange anymore. Is he? Are the prison colors red there? I wonder.
Depending on that facility, how they may have them set up. One prison I used to work at, LCC, red and white striped jumpsuits were we called them candy stripers. Those were brand new inmates. They hadn't been fully classified yet. Orange were typically the trustees. Blue jumpsuits were the kitchen workers. Black and white general population. Uh, Now, if he's being held in solitary, he probably would be wearing a orange. But if he's held under self harm watch, he'll probably be in a turtle suit, or he might just be in plastic underwear, or
Mm,
well, not plastic underwear, but like paper underwear.
really?
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Are you are you looking at this photo right here? Because it says, let me read you what it says. It says the facility has a 3-tier security perimeter with 2 outer fences with razor ribbon throughout. The center fence features an electrical charge. Oh, they got chocolates that will activate into lethal mode when touched. This system eliminates the need for tower guards and or guard towers, and it saves millions of dollars in staffing costs.
yeah, I don't agree with that because you always want to have a human being in a tower with a rifle. Because even though I'm sure they got backup generators and stuff to keep the fences working, to keep the electrified the hot wire going. But there's always a way around that stuff. If you know what you're doing, you can get around them easy. That's why you would always want that person up in the tire with that mini 14, or in some facilities they actually have an M16 or something.
Yeah. I guess this is what they're talking about, the charges right here.
Yep, that's what that looks like to me. That looks like a straight up hot wire.
So you got this fence, and then you got there's hot wire, this fence, and this fence, and this. There's like there's 1, 2, 3, 4 fences that you'd have to get through, I guess.
Oh yeah. And that concertina wire, let me tell you what, that stuff right there will cut you to ribbons. Oh dear Lord, will it ever? Whoo!
I just
Child, let me tell you.
Yeah, but don't you think it takes a lot of work and creativity to do a prison break? And do we really think that Brooks has that
You, yeah,
ambition? He does not have.
yeah. He would probably have to be riding with somebody who would have to be the brains of the operation. They'd probably use him as the fall guy or the distraction. If you, sorry, if you're familiar with that TV show, The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I love that show.
Oh, same here. Remember back in season 2 when Shane popped old boy in the Otis in the leg and took off running?
Yeah. Well, I
That's
don't know
probably what
Otis.
the big old fat dude that was an EMT.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what somebody would do to Brooks, to Darnisha. They'd probably end up pulling a Shane on him, leaving him while they took off running, leave him as a distraction,
Yeah. Throw him under the bus and keep going.
and maybe even literally throw him under a bus. Like, okay, we're
Yeah.
out. How we get out of here? Here, get up underneath this bus. Okay, now I'm guy.
Like you said, on all the different types of personalities that come and go through prison, he is definitely one of those. It's just he's a little weasel. He's gonna be somebody's little play toy. Um,
Oh, oh, go ahead.
oh, no, I was gonna skip over. Go ahead, tell me what you're gonna say.
I was gonna say, I guarantee you, more than likely, if they don't decide to put KOS orders on him, if they decide not to, or somebody decides to override that, he's gonna straight up be somebody's prison wife. I can tell you that right now. They gonna be passing him around for a honey bun and a soup. I mean, more than
Oh God.
likely.
Okay, okay, don't say nothing else.
Yeah, I mean,
I wanna get some money on this tonight's stream. I wanna get paid. Okay, I'm looking at this handbook here. General population versus RH. What is RH? Uh, did I lose somebody? Hang on. Restrictive housing inmate. Is that the one we want to look at? Oh, he got pop. There, you there. Okay. We want to look at the restrictive housing or the gen pop. We don't want gen pop. We want restrictive housing, right? Is that the
probably
one?
the best. Oh,
Okay.
I'm
So
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
no, I'm sorry. It's hard because it's hard talking on this thing, guys, because we don't know when. But tell us what we want to look at here, John Bubba. Where do you want me to go with this manual?
I'd probably look at the not the Gen Pop, but the other one there. Uh, let's see. Let me take a look right here. Okay, there's gonna be Gen Pop. I would probably had. Oh wow, I'm sitting there looking at that little list there. Electronic monitoring surveillance notice. Who? Huh. That's fun. Cameras watching. Oh Lord, that's boring as heck.
Let's see where it says that. I don't want to put that
Oh,
up. Ugh.
Yeah, the
Okay.
prison grape. Yeah, let's avoid that. Yeah. We love
Pursuant
you,
to
YouTube.
yeah, no doubt. Pursuant to the DAI Policy 306, electronic monitoring, available in the law library, is the purpose of this notice is to establish guidelines for electronic monitoring and recordings of offender activities without their awareness. This policy applies only to surveillance being done using hidden microphones, cameras, or other equipment. It does not apply to staff observations, visible cameras, intercoms, or other monitoring systems which offenders should be reasonably aware of. Through this form of surveillance, the institution will gather information on offender activities jeopardizing institution security. These activities include drug dealing, security threats, and disruptive group activities, escape plans, and other illicit activity. Information gathered regarding the offenders may be used in any fashion by the institution. Department of Law Enforcement authorities deem appropriate to include, but not to be limited to, administrative, due process, program review, parole hearings, and criminal prosecutions. So how it doesn't tell us where they're at though, where
Yeah.
the well
Basically,
look
it just me. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh, basically, it just means there's going to be a whole bunch of cameras pretty much everywheres, and there's going to also be microphones recording and stuff. They'll mostly be in the areas where the majority of inmates congregate, but they'll also probably have cameras in the cells, especially these self-harm watch cells. That's when they'll have the most. Uh, that's where you'll be really under the strictest of surveillance and everything. So that way, if they catch you trying to make a do something to yourself, they can try to get a response to you quicker. Uh, but they'll also have them in the inmate gathering areas, like day room, the shower areas, and whatnot.
Let's go down and look at this because it talks about if you get down to restrictions and let's go down to 17 where it talks about restrictions and showers and stuff. I want to see. So they do get a recreational. I guess that's humane. It's inhumane not to give them some kind of exercise program.
Yeah, under federal law, they do. Under federal and state law, they do have to get something like rec yard or either indoor or outdoor recreation area to basically to get out of their cell and to do something like some exercise, lift weights if the facility allows for weights. Uh, because some they took the weights away, but it depends on the facility and the state as well. But they had to have something to do, like they can get out there and play basketball, maybe do some calisthenics, run circles, things like that. I know here in Louisiana, the way it used to be, I don't know if it still is or not, but they have to have a minimum, bare bones minimum, 4 hours of yard time a week, weather permitting. So they go out for 4 hours on a Monday. That could be all their yard for the whole 7 days.
Mm.
You know, but typically they try to put them out on the yard every day unless the weather's real bad or something. Uh,
And then if they do something like if they do something wrong, that's something they can take away from them.
oh, do they? Shoot, that was a free man. That's a free man slang for a corrections officer. There was a free man that I used to work with at one facility. After they got rid of me there, they gave me a choice, quit or be fired. He got hit in the head with a AA battery by an inmate in one dormitory. An inmate threw it at him. Nobody fessed up to the charge. So what did the chief of security and assistant warden do? They turned the TV off at that dorm. That dorm was the last to go to chow. That dorm did not have yard access for a whole week. Like they were in that dormitory, all 79 inmates, just locked in there, could not come out for church meetings, last to chow, no yard, no TV, no cards, no dominoes.
But that's fair, I think. If you're going to act up, you shouldn't be able to, right?
Oh yeah, they'd shoot because it's all about that control. If you let something like that slide, those inmates know they can do whatever they want, and you lose that security, you lose that control. So then it just becomes a free for all. What are we there for?
I think it's interesting that it says you can only take showers 3 times a week, and you have 20-minute period to take a shower.
Yep. uh in situations like that where especially with the high security area, because typically you've got more inmates than you do officers, so you got to try to break it down into the time frame to service everybody. Now at Angola where I worked at on the cell blocks, let's see. Pretty much you got to shower like pretty much every day on your tier because let's see. There was 2 officers working 4 tiers, and there was about 13 cells and inmates. So I'll let somebody else do the math on that one because it'll hurt my
Yeah.
brain at this time of night. uh, yeah, 13 times 4 if anybody wants to add it up or multiply it or whatever. All right. So you could do half of them by day and the other half at night, and you could pretty much run through them. The only thing that's really tough about that could take a while is when you got to, if it's a solitary confinement cell, you got to get down there. You got to iron them up, take them out, put them in the shower, close the shower cell door, uniron them, let them shower, go back, iron them up, take them back to the cell, put them in, uniron them, go back, go to the next guy, and that can be some time-consuming garbage. Ugh.
Ugh. Well, you know what I was thinking of? You were talking about them throwing stuff at the guards, and we'll just say human waste to keep it clean. But
Fair enough.
yeah, they throw stuff at the guards to be jerks. But it seems like in a prison like this, where you have these types of cells, and I'll go back to this picture really quick, just so everybody can look at it one last time.
Mm-hmm.
Right here, how you can't get away with that, because if you're really just hurting yourself there.
Well,
I mean, they might open that window up a little bit, but
well, if you look down there at the bottom,
mm-hmm.
at the bottom of the door there, that looks like a feed tray, a tray slot where you can slide the inmate's food tray into, take the
Yeah,
food tray out, maybe put books or whatever in there. That's usually the most dangerous time is when you got to open that cell, because the way you would approach it is when you walk up to that cell, you know, if they got something covering that window, you tell them take it down. They got a towel in front, whatever. The moment that little tray comes open, that's where it gets dangerous because they could try to gas you, and gassing is a nickname for when they throw the stuff on you.
yeah.
uh they could also have a homemade spear in there and try to stab you with it, or they'll have that shank and try to stab you with it or something like that if it's long enough, or if you get too close. Uh
Wow. But look at this,
oh,
John Bubba. Look at how.
hmm,
Okay, so the first 2 doors here on the bottom right, those look. I
mhm,
see where you're talking about the meal tray area, but when you
mhm,
look over to the right hand side, and even further down, those have different types of slots. The first on the left, the 2 bottom left, are the ones with I see the meal slot trays, right? But if
mhm.
you look over on the right hand side of the thing, it looks like those are different types of slots.
Let me turn
Do
my
you,
brightness up on my phone so I can see a little bit better.
wish I could
Okay.
make it bigger. I don't know how to make it bigger. Let's see if I can do that.
Oh, it's cool. I think I got it as big as I can get it on my phone there. Uh, so I
Ooh, that
see
makes it
down at
small.
the
Ooh,
because I see down at the bottom, I can see where you would slide your key in to unlock it to open the slide the tray in and everything. But
yeah.
now I do also see. So it looks like there might be 2 of them. Uh, one of them could shoot without being there physically to see it right in front of me. It's hard to describe, but it also looks like there is a good possibility that could also be a restraint, a way to put restraints on them as well down at the bottom. Like you would have the inmates stand up to it, facing away from you, have their ankles right up there to it, so you could put the shackles on them.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. While the top
Ah,
shelf right up there, like right up underneath where it looks like that window right there, that could be the food tray where they slide the trays through because they're typically not that thick, and
okay,
more than likely
gotcha.
they'd be styrofoam, but they might also be the plastic kind. But using the hard plastic kind are typically the most dangerous ones to slide through there because they could very easily be broke off to make a weapon out of. But they also inspect them too. When them trays come out and they see a piece of it's broke off, like, whoa, hold up, we're doing a shakedown right here, right now.
Mm,
And
okay, let's go
also,
back over to this thing. No, go ahead
okay,
and keep talking. I'm just going to change the screen.
okay. And right there with that window right there, depending on what is in there, it might be the reinforced plexiglass, or it could very well possibly be just like a chicken wire kind of thing. Just depends on what's at. More often than not, it's going to be a reinforced plexiglass.
I was going to say I don't know about that chicken wire. That seems like really old school, right? I think this prison facility is 25 years old approximately in that
Yeah,
age range.
so more than likely they'd be using well, it's not actual real chicken wire, but it's something similar to it. In some
Okay.
facilities, they still use. But for something like that right there, they'd be using reinforced plexiglass. And they say that plexiglass is unbreakable. That's a dang lie. I sat there and watched a dude one time headbutt it in the cell, and he broke it.
Oh my goodness.
Of course, this was also guy was very hopped up on some dust, and it took about 4 or 5 of us officers to take him down. And the biggest one of us weighed almost 400 pounds, and he was having a hard time struggling with the guy.
Holy crud. Okay, for those of you that are just coming in, we're talking about the facility where Brooks was just relocated to this past Tuesday. And the name of the facility is sorry. It's Wisconsin Secure Program Facility. The warden is Gary Boughton. It's out of Boscobel, Wisconsin. Okay, so John Bubba, you know what I'm looking at here? It says do not cover. It says in this thing where it's talking about the rules, it says do not cover your cell window, air vents, intercom, camera lens. Does that mean that every cell has an intercom and a camera lens?
More than likely, every cell probably would for that facility. There's a high chance probability every single one's going to have a camera in it. Every single one's going to have your intercom in it. Especially if there's going to be a woman coming down the tier, and I'm assuming this is like an all male facility. Let's say a
Yeah.
woman's coming down the tier, could be a woman CO, could be a woman nurse or something. They'll get on that intercom, woman on the tier, you better have your pants on. You better be covering yourself with your blanket or something. Because if you decide you want to walk up to that cell door, shaking it at her, guess what? Rule 21, S offense.
Okay, so they can talk. Obviously, they can hear what you guys are saying to them, but can they talk back to the security guards using that intercom?
Sometimes I know some facilities they do have the two-way communication, but then you have to flip a switch in order to be able to communicate to hear from them. Because otherwise,
Yeah.
otherwise they'll sit there and just be pressing that button just to aggravate the fire out of you for no dang reason other than they're bored and just want to give you a hard time, hoping that you'll decide to go down there and act a fool and they get a lawsuit or something.
I wonder how often they open the trap door
Hmm.
because it
Oh, you mean?
mentions that about the cell light being turned on when the trap door is opened.
Hmm. That's a good question. Because I'm not used to ones with trap doors. Hey, Bruiser.
He's just when directed to come to the door for a cell search, you're expected to come to the door immediately. There shall be no organized papers, bedding, or issued or using the toilet before coming out. Oh, it says ensure your TV is turned off prior to coming out of your cell. So each cell has a TV. That's BS.
More than likely, it might be like a little 5 to 10 inch TV that's
Still,
see through and everything. Hell, to be fair, it on one hand it does suck majorly that they get it, but on the other hand, it's a way for them, for something for mental health, so that way they ain't in there going completely stark raving nuts.
yeah, but what kind of what are they allowed to watch? Are we talking about they got cable, they got Hulu, Netflix? What are we talking about here?
Typically, depending on the facility and its operating budget, it'll probably just have basic cable or basic channels. The number one things that
So
they'll be
so
watching. Oh, hmm.
I'm sorry. So you're talking like like ABC, NBC, CBS, that kind of stuff, or are you talking not like satellite or real cable? Because I'm thinking could it be antenna TV type stuff?
It just depends on the facility and its operating budget. Like Angola, when I worked there, they years before I started working there, they gave the inmates a choice: air conditioning or cable TV. The inmates chose cable TV. Uh,
Really?
and it'd be the same kind of cable TV that you would get if you was on the street. The basic package. You know, and the typically number one thing the inmates would watch: sports out the wazoo. Uh,
Yeah.
Sports, the news, and every Saturday night, without failure, they'd be watching Soul Train, the Source something or other, and stuff like that. And God forbid if a Girls Gone Wild infomercial come on. Oh my
You
God.
you're showing your age, John Bubba.
I know. Jesus
No.
Christ. When those infomercials come on, I can't tell you how many times I had to walk up in that TV room. I'd start seeing guys' hands drifting down their stomach. I'd be like, hey, you better not.
You know, I love antenna TV sometimes. I do. I love to watch antenna TV, but those commercials on antenna TV can be prison in themselves. So, I mean, that's its own type of punishment. Um,
Oh, yeah.
I
And,
was just they can
oh,
so
go ahead. Go ahead.
they can have visits on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 to 11 or Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays from 8 to 4.
God, visitation sucked. Oh my God, did it suck? Because that's when you got to do the flashlight search on the inmate if they have
Oh.
a direct visitation, like face to face without a screen in the way or anything like that. You had to flashlight search them, and oh my God, that was horrible. Ugh.
Yeah, but don't you think at a prison facility like this, there gotta be there's gotta be something between them.
Oh
There's
yeah, more
gotta
than
be.
likely.
But I know what
Though,
you're talking about, like the old school. I call it old school because or is it Gen Pop type stuff where
yeah.
they can hide it just about anywhere they want to hide it in themselves. Um,
Though now that I think about it, a facility like this, more than likely they will have trustees, and those trustees would have something like a higher level of Gen Pop than other inmates. So they probably would get those direct contact visits where they could sit like at a bench next to their wife, kids, or whatever. And
oh,
let me tell you something. It is absolute nightmare having to do a dang flashlight search, especially when you get stuck doing one on a 450-pound man.
that is disgusting, John
Oh
Bubba.
yeah. Trust me, and I'm the one that got the short straw because I was the rookie on the ship. And oh dear Lord in heaven, was it horrible? When
It
you got to
talks
sit there,
about. Go
oh
ahead.
go ahead. Oh, when you got to tell a man, all right, lift your stomach. Okay, lift your other stomach. Okay, lift
Eh,
your other stomach.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Let me look at you. I gotta look at your rolls. Okay, so it says something about inmates in administrative confinement may receive 3 15-minute phone calls per month.
Yep.
That's it?
That's it.
They don't I don't know why I always thought they got at least daily to weekly phone call
Depends
permissions.
on their status on their punishment status. It could be more, it could be less. Uh, some they like you just said they'll get that. Sometimes they might actually get a little bit more. It just depends on what they're doing, why they're in AdSeg or the dungeon, the hole, whatever you want to call it. Uh,
So let's talk about the phases here. Now it
mm,
says that um it's well, okay. There's in this facility, it's considered a high risk or a maximum security facility for high risk individuals.
mm,
What we saw, it's like 70 something percent high risk individuals. So it says the security phases are designated to encourage your positive adjustment, blah, blah, blah. But you can be put into Gen Pop if you do the right things, right?
right.
Now, if we're talking about somebody like Brooks, who has probably a nice little bounty on his head, they're not going to put him in Gen Pop even here, would you think? I mean,
Mm.
was the whole point in moving him here so that it is more safe for him than you know what I
Well,
mean?
oh, I get you. On the one hand, it's possible they moved him there for his own safety because they might have got wind of too many threats coming against him. There might have even been an attempt on him that they might have caught early, to where it didn't fall through. Also, they could have possibly moved him there because of a risk to staff, like him constantly gassing and everything, and they decided to move him to a more secure location now where he's less able to gas somebody, or things like that. It just depends. I would have to see the papers really in order to get to it, but more than likely though, from what I've been hearing through the grapevine, that he's got a lot of bounties on his head. The number one ones that's looking at him right now hardcore are Bloods, that
Really?
they From what I
Because he
hear
said he
now,
was a gang? Because of the
yep,
gang thing that okay.
because he was rocking red, and since now I just want everybody to understand when I say this, 'cause this is all just hearsay grounds. This is all just hearsay. This is all speculation. This is just stuff I've been hearing through the grapevine. So don't take what I'm saying as gospel truth. Uh, Word on the street is that the Bloods, they want to take him out hardcore because he was repping red and he never got properly jumped in. So he's wearing stripes that he never earned. And if he gets put in Gen Pop with other Bloods, if he's got any ink on him that shows that's blood ink, they're gonna give him. They're either gonna make him take it off himself or they're gonna remove it for him. And knowing him and what he's doing time for, they're not gonna give him the choice. They're gonna take it off him for him.
Mhm. I just can't see them allowing them to get to him though.
Mm.
Well, you don't think so?
Well, more than likely though, at some point he may have to hit Gen Pop just because of the way the laws are written, both federal and the state as well. He might, but then again, he might also be put in what's considered a protective Gen Pop, where smaller general population area, more protected. Something best way to think about it is certain elderly inmates that are more that are less of a danger, but to staff or to other inmates. So they put them in
Gotcha.
like a general pop area. So they might have an area set up kind of like that where they can stick him in. But the thing is, just because those guys got gray hair on their head don't mean nothing. They can still nut up. They can still handle their business. Some of them.
Oh, thank you, Janice. I missed this. She sent this over just about 20 minutes ago. I apologize, Janice. Thank you for your tip. I appreciate it. She said, I love this live. Thanks for um, bringing in John Bubba.
Oh, appreciate it, Janice.
Yeah, we got a couple of and Zephyr. Okay, well I'll get to that. Let's leave this up for a minute and then we'll get to that. I didn't realize we had people activity going on, you guys. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want
Sorry
to
about
talk
that, y'all.
about no, this is just interesting. I mean, we have something different to talk about when it comes to him. Um, I guess I want to understand if he what about internet? Does it internet access? It says they could have electronic stuff in their jail cell. What type of
Uh,
electronics are we talking about other than a television?
Typically the only electronics they can have are TVs, the small TVs that would be see through, radios, and that's about it. Maybe like a little. I know some facility, then like Walkman cassette players, they could have those as well. Some facilities have actually moved over to start doing CD players. To me, stupid freaking idea. Me and other corrections officers were talking about that when we were working in Angola. They started letting inmates have CD players. We straight up said that is the stupidest idea that they could do because you could break a CD and you got a shank in like seconds, and those things get
Yeah.
sharp.
Well, that's the person that comes to my mind, and I'm not even in that job. So yeah, that's kind of dumb.
I mean, you could very easily just take a regular old CD, snap that sucker, and you got one heck of a slasher. And if it's got a good stabbing point on it, you got a heck of a good stabber and slasher. So you got a two-in-one blade right there that you can mess somebody's world up with in a heartbeat. You know,
Let me
so
go to the page that talks about electronics. It says
yeah.
inmates in high risk offender and administrative confinement may participate in the HSED program to apply for those. They're educational programs. That's not what I wanted. Sorry. Let me go back down here.
That's all good.
Limited video programming shall be available according to your status. If you are participating in education or treatment, you may be given a schedule of programming. Okay, that makes sense. But it says for inmates who do not own their own TVs, so they have to bring them in. With the exception of designated cells on Alpha Unit and Step 1 and 2 inmates, state issues televisions may be provided. Music stations provided through the television shall be changed periodically as staff determines appropriate. And if you are issued a state-owned television, you are responsible for any damage done to the TV. If you are found guilty of damaging or altering the TV, you may be charged restitution and or lose the privilege of having the TV. You shall not be eligible to receive a new television if you still owe restitution for a damaged television. I would think that um there's more that are issued by them.
Yeah, more than likely they'll be taking some that belong to the facility. Like I say, they're not gonna be that big. They may be like 5 to 10 inches at the most, and they're gonna be like the old school kind of TV with the picture tube and the big fat back and everything. And it'll be all see through, so you can look into it easily, see if anybody's hiding any contraband in it. Uh, they'll probably issue some of them to the inmates that are actually being good boys, following the rules, not acting a fool. And if you start acting a fool too much, I snatch that sucker from you in a heartbeat. Uh, and as far as
Yeah.
like what they like, the music that they can listen to and stuff, more than likely they'll probably be making them listen to like the softer kind of stuff, nothing real hardcore like they'll definitely not. They'll listen to some rap of definitely, but they'll probably won't let them listen to a hardcore gangster rap stuff. They'll probably cut that in a heartbeat, so it doesn't provide because a lot of rappers are still in gangs and stuff like that, or have gang affiliations. So you might be listening to one dude who's sitting there repping blue, and you might have a guy who's across the hall from you rocking red, and next thing you know, y'all two start beefing with each other from across the hall, screaming and hollering at each other.
Yeah. It's
You
just
know.
yeah, it's all got to be controlled. Well, they don't want to fight, and even in the area like in Gen Pop, they control the TV probably because it does cause fights if they don't.
Oh
Well,
God, yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've had to sit there and go break up a dang fight just because one dude wanted to watch the Saints play and one dude wanted to watch the news, and then next thing you know, here come they start throwing blows. Or
oh
one dude
man,
wants or one
yeah,
dude wants to watch Ricky Lake.
that's Friday night at my house. No, I'm just kidding. No, so let's talk about file reviews. Casey's, she said, "Am I muted?" Hey, girl, you're back on. Do you want to come up, Casey? Let me know if you do. I'll bring you up. TV was the worst. I'm gonna put the link in the chat for KC only, please, y'all. So I'm gonna invite her to come up as well because she also did um, this same job for a very long time. I might just put myself on mute and let you two talk about this stuff. Y'all know more about it than I do.
Uh,
Um,
to be to be fair, Casey knows way more than I do because I only got 3 years of it under my belt. But you know, I worked at one of the largest prisons in the United States as far as landmass goes. But I only got like 3 years under my belt.
um, I just got through watching Sons of Anarchy for the second time. I binge watched it, and it you forget in today's world because things have gotten a lot better. They're not perfect, but they've gotten better. But it's amazing that when you go into the jail system, um, it's black, it's white, it's Hispanic, it's Asian. They're all separated, aren't they? They all have their own. It's almost like they have their own little gangs inside of the prison, or I guess we could say we'll call them cliques.
Oh, do they ever? And there are gangs on top of gangs on top of gangs. I mean, typically white inmates typically rock with either the Aryan Brotherhood or neo not. Well, I don't know if I can say that word or not on YouTube, but the
Yeah, I guess
neos.
those are. Isn't that this? I thought that was the same thing.
If memory serves me right, they're actually two separate, but they also have like under branches of it too. Like let's say with the Bloods, you might have the East Street Bloods and the West Street Bloods, and the with the Crips, you might have the Spook Street Crips, and yeah.
Is this Casey that just came on? You're muted.
Am
It
I
says
unmuted now?
okay. That's her. Okay, I just want to make sure it was you. I just want
Am
to
I
make
Hey,
sure it was.
muted?
Casey.
Hey, John Bubba, how's it going?
Oh, can I complain? How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. My internet's been messing up today. I don't know why.
Ugh, I can
Yeah,
imagine probably acting like a wild youngin' on sugar.
sure is.
Hey,
So
thank
what?
you. I'm gonna let you guys talk really quick, but I wanted to say thank you, Zephyr, for gifting the 5 minute membership, honey. I appreciate you. And I'm gonna just kind of sit back and let you two talk about this stuff and tell and educate us a little bit and tell me if you want me to move it around in this little manual we're looking at here on the screen.
All
Okay.
right, I'll do my best.
Yeah.
The first thing I'm looking at is the inmate complaints right there. Whoo, that brings back so many fond memories.
Yeah. And let's go back to the thing about the TV. The TV for me was the worst because, like John Bubba said, you can't make any of them happy, and they get volatile really fast. I've seen so much go down because of the television, and it's just ridiculous. And it causes huge issues. Don't you think, John Bubba?
Oh, the worst was during football games because they start getting loud. They start hollering and everything. And you cut that TV off, tell them get that noise down. They want to start acting a fool. Then I'd have to sit there and tell the dorm, okay, guess what? Y'all want to act a fool? Y'all want to hoot and holler? Guess what? TV's off for the next 30 minutes. Okay, make that an hour. You want to go
Make
for an
it
hour
a
and a half?
fucking week. Make it a week. Get out of here.
Yeah. And then I can't. Oh, and then worst Super Bowl time was a straight hardcore worst because then, oh man, they were just straight up to gambling about it, sitting there giving out their property that they just lost. And I just literally just threw my hands up. I was like, man, if I got to sit here and write people up and lock them up for gambling, I'm literally going to lock up the whole dang dorm. And we ain't got enough sales for that.
No, that's for sure.
I just straight up said, all right. I mean, I remember one night, I can't remember which Super Bowl it was, but during the 7 o'clock count, I straight up stood up in front of the whole dorm after the count was cleared and everything. I didn't let the inmates up. I just said, all right, look, I know it's Super Bowl tonight. I know y'all gambling. Y'all know I know y'all gambling. Here's what it's going to go down. You going to do that in the back of the dorm so where I don't see it. And if there ain't going to be no fights over it, okay? There ain't going to be no daggone fights. You give that dude time to pay his debt because I don't feel like having to do all the paperwork on every swinging word in here.
No,
I had
paperwork.
to catch myself.
The paperwork in prison's not fun. It's people don't understand. It's not normal.
Shoot, especially when you lock up an inmate for something, you got to write that disciplinary report. Then you got to write up the use of force report. Then you got to write up the unusual occurrence report. Then you got to, oh dear God, then you got to write it down in your logbook why this inmate was locked up, what time. Then you got to go do the inventory all their property, fill that out, put it where you put it at in the inventory shed. Like, oh God, that paperwork was such a murder. You'd get carpal tunnel by the time you got done.
Back then, I didn't have it that bad like it is now. It's a lot more intense, it seems like. Got to remember, I've been out of it for a long time.
That's fair. Heck, it's been 20 years for me.
What are you guys talking about? Daryl got moved. Did he get moved? Or is he still at Dodge?
No, he got moved. He got moved on the 7th.
Where'd he go?
On Tuesday. Here, I'll share the tab. He's at.
He didn't go to Supermax, did he?
It says it's a Maximum Security. It's Wisconsin Secure Program Facility.
Oh, okay.
It's at a Morrison Drive, Boscobel, Wisconsin. And were you not here when we looked at this institution fact sheet?
No, my internet was jacked up, so I didn't really get to hear too much. I was just kicking back, just chilling, and then I turned on my tablet, and boom.
I'll let you guys go over this really quick. If you want to comment on it and what's going on here. It's pretty cool, all this information they provide.
Is it? Oh, it's for the prison. Okay.
Yeah. From what I understand, this is basically a Supermax, from what I'm understanding. However, I can be wrong, but if it's straight up Supermax, oh, yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. If it's straight up, he's screwed.
Yeah.
He won't see the light of day after that.
Nah, he'll be in at 23 at 23/7.
Yep. And he'll be lucky if he gets out.
Now,
for an hour a day. He'll be lucky.
Yeah. If he's a good boy.
It is a maximum. No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I keep going. I'm like a diesel sometimes. Takes a little bit to get wound up, but once I get rolling hard, it's hard to stop.
It's okay, John Bubba. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, but more than likely. Oh, I'm sorry.
Again. What did he do, or is it just for his own good? I mean, did he do something? Did he threaten something, or is it just for his own safety?
We just think he was moved for security reasons.
Yeah, me too.
My personal belief is it was either option A, there was possibly a confirmed threat against him that they were able to either intervene in time to keep it from happening,
Green
or
light.
exactly, like maybe somebody caught some wind that they had a surprise ready for them, get ready to do
Yep.
something, and they caught it, or it's very highly also probable too that he was just too much of a disciplinary and security risk towards staff, like constant gassing and everything. So they probably moved him to another facility where he can't gas them as easily.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Totally. I don't think he's ever going to be able to stay in one place very long. Even in a supermax, he drives everybody crazy. Could you imagine being a prison guard for him? No.
Well,
Oh,
I'd turn my head every chance I could.
well, wait a
Nope.
minute. If what I mean, at some point, the man is not. We know he's not. He's not that smart, but he's also not
Oh,
stupid.
but
I
he's
mean,
street smart.
well, supposedly. But my point is like how he's going to know what's in his best interest once he gets like that, and his best interest right now is making sure the guards, are his friends, I guess, to an extent. So he's not. You would think he's not going to act out, and you would think that he needs them to protect them.
you would think it, but the thing
But
is,
yeah,
idiots like him, I could already tell you right now, they got a code word, they got a term for inmates like him. Uh, I, uh, ball breakers. All right. He will sit there and just be acting up in the hopes that either a CO goes down there, handles his business on him, and he could either get a lawsuit going, or he might end up, or in his sick, twisted mind, they might handle him up so hardcore they may have to cut him loose. But that'll never happen. But
right.
more than likely, he might tick off the wrong CO. That's like Teflon. Nothing can stick to him, and they go
Yeah.
handle his business on his butt. And he's gonna be walking around there with his jaw wired shut.
How much of like when they do a complaint, like treating now let's just talk off the record here. Treating prisoners fairly. Is it up to, is it the warden that controls that, or is there somebody in between the warden and the guards that kind of
Oh gosh.
say this is how it's going to happen?
There's lieutenants, there's sergeants, there's everything. It's just like when I don't know about John Bubba, but when I went to get my job, I had to go to actual boot camp for 8 weeks, like cadence and all back in the day. Now it's not like that at all, is it, John Bubba?
When I was there at Angola, I went to the
Yeah.
Davis C. Knapp's Corrections Officer Training Academy. It was a
Mhm.
3-week training course. Basically, it was a
Jeez.
combination. It was like being a combination of being in high school again, the military, and being an inmate yourself.
Yep,
Uh,
exactly.
Now, as far as these like inmates complaints go, it depends on the facility and their way they're regulated it. Inmate files, like let's say I'll just use LaSalle as a good example where I also worked at. Inmate files a complaint, it goes to the chief of security. All right, chief of security looks it over. Now, if they file and they decide to either go with it or throw it in the trash can, if it's an ARP, that goes to that would go to the sheriff of LaSalle Parish or the warden, one of the two.
Mm. Hey, really quick, I don't want to mean to interrupt you guys, but I just want to say, Teresa Baker, thank you, honey, for being a member for 3
Where's
months.
Laura?
Let me tell you what you can do to make that green thing pop up. If you go down to the bottom of the chat where it has, is it the $sign, you guys? I think it is.
Yes.
And and if you have, like, when you've been a member, I think once a month you get a free thing, right? So check that out, because as a member they give you like a free super chat, and that's where they're getting those green things. So so if you guys are a member and you're not using those, you should use them more often to say hey and all that kind of stuff in the chat, because I will put it up more.
Super stickers and super chats.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's go back over here to what we were talking about, these inmate complaints, because okay, he's gonna be like you guys said, he's the squeaky wheel, right?
Yep.
Oh, I can guarantee you, he's gonna be filing a complaint on everything. Like
Everything.
he didn't get enough eggs on his breakfast tray. His shoes got a hole in it. One shoestring longer than the other.
You talked to him and you didn't talk to me. All kinds of crap. I don't know. He's such a puny little shit, though.
Right.
I noticed that years ago, there was a female prison guard in this facility that had to go to court for something. I guess she was breaking the rules. She was having personal meetings with, and I'll leave it at that, with one of the
Oh,
inmates.
oh
Oh,
Jesus! I could tell
that
so
was
many
real.
dang stories.
I know it, huh? They don't. It's
Oh,
crazy. Oh my gosh.
funniest one that I ever heard of, and to this day I still crack up laughing when I think about it, was when they caught one woman at Camp F at Angola. Camp F is the trustee camp, right? The high level trustees. Like if you're a trustee who gets put at Camp F, you dang near a free man, is what they say. So this woman CO, she was letting this one inmate come out of that dorm into the Sallyport in the Sallyport building where she worked at, and they'd be getting busy. Well, rumor got around to it. A couple of captains were hiding up in the guard in an unmanned guard tower. A major climbed up on the roof. One major was up in a tree, all watching that building. Sure enough, that night he come walking out there, bebopping, all happy as can be, walking to that building. Walked in there. They waited about 10, 15 minutes, and they busted that door open, caught her. You know, they caught them both getting after it. They made her put on an inmate jumpsuit, stand at the front gate, fully ironed up and ready for the West Feliciana Parish Sheriff's Office to come pick her up.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, come on now.
But I mean, you know what they say, forbidden fruit's always the sweetest. But god dang, I ain't about to sit there and throw away my life and my career and everything for no inmate. Oh heck no.
What
No.
you remember the two that had the same last name, the little blonde sheriff that just this recent case for that tall guy. What was his name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Where she got him out, and they got called out on the run together.
Oh, that.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the
The
name?
God, he
Oh,
was.
I
Casey
can't
White.
remember her name.
Casey White. Is that the
Yes,
name?
I think so.
I know the last name's White. I don't know about the first name.
So
I hope I'm not blessed with that.
when I was looking at it, it looked like she was close to retirement or whatever. And I was just like, I guess if you spend enough time, and of course, that's, where you spend a majority of your time is at work. You spend enough time with one person and you're dealing with major manipulation over there. These guys know how to manipulate people, and they
That's
got
all they
nothing but
have is
time.
time to think.
Yeah. Yeah. How can I mess this person up in the head? So I just kind of wonder what could happen there. I guess it could happen to the best of them.
Yeah, nobody's immune. All it takes is that there's a guy that one old instructor of mine you once said, inmates can make the best psychiatrists and psychological profilers because all they do all day is just watch people, learn human behavior, learn everything. Within 10 to 15 minutes, they can pretty much tell the person's entire life story. They can just look at how they walk, how they carry themselves. Is this person a trauma victim? Is this person ever served in the military? Has this person ever done this, that, and the other? And then 9 times out of 10, they're right on the nose.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yes.
I was looking at I was gonna pull up some other stuff on this prison just to kind of. Let's change this. I'm gonna share this tab. Anything in here y'all want me to open up on this? Scheduling court calls and virtual court appearances. Okay, do we think he's gonna be? We know he can't represent himself on this upcoming Wisconsin charge, right?
No, he cannot.
So is because of where he's located now? Do we believe that he's going to be present via Zoom the whole time?
Depends. It's going to depend on the judge.
Yeah,
They might move him over there and make him leave again.
More than likely, what I'm willing to bet on is due to cost effectiveness and the cost of transportation and everything, and cost of housing him from one facility to another and moving and all that stuff. They'll probably just have him appear by Zoom, more than likely, because it'd be a whole lot cheaper.
That's what I was thinking, because they had said, I think they told Erica if she wanted to appear by Zoom, she could.
Really?
But I guess it's one of those things where it's like, they have to be really cautious on how they do it. Like they can't mute him, can they, and all that?
Oh,
Why?
if he's not representing himself, if he's the defendant and not acting as his own attorney, they can mute his butt in a heartbeat.
Super Kelly, who I always want to say call Super Kellogg because of the G at the end. Super Kelly says, why can't he represent himself? Well, because this case is intimidating the witness. I think that is why the judge said no. But the judge said no, he can't represent himself in this case, from what I understand.
That's my
I
understanding.
believe that's what I understand too. Yeah, that judge probably said, look, you you in here for intimidation of a witness. You ain't about to sit here and intimidate this witness on my stand, represent you. That ain't happening here, Jack. No.
I was looking at this prison. It says information on programs and services that are available to inmates. But let's see. It does say that as far as video conferencing capabilities, court hearings between persons in our care in the Wisconsin court system, the court calls and virtual court appearances may be scheduled by contacting the court scheduler at the facility. The inmate and offender search tool may be used to locate a person in our care housed within a DOC facility. The court schedule list may be used to identify the designated facility contact. And I guess that's just how you get in touch with them to do that. Sending and receiving an inmate electronic message. Now, one of the people that sent me over some stuff said that he cannot receive. I did not see where it said that he could not be receiving electronic mail, but it makes sense.
Yeah, more than likely he himself wouldn't. But some of the inmates are allowed some internet access, but it's very regulated.
Yeah, it's very limited.
Right.
I don't even think they can use Google.
I don't think so either.
I don't think they can use Google. There's just certain apps that they can use that the prison has.
Can they watch? Right. Can they watch his trial on YouTube like we have?
Sometimes I bet you. If they have illegal phones and crap, hell yeah.
Casey took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say more than likely using the facility computer. No, but at the same time, they probably got some phones that's been smuggled in. They probably sitting there watching YouTube. Probably was watching the whole trial.
Oh hell
I wouldn't be surprised if while he was being held at a Dodge or at a Milwaukee, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the inmates on his pod was hollering at him or something. Grounds.
Probably.
They were in there doing the same stuff we were doing.
Yeah. Hey, John Bubba. John Bubba, could you imagine what it would be like transporting Daryl from that prison to another prison, and all them inmates all know about him and what he has to go through just to get booked into that place, and then he gets. I mean, people know who he is. They're not going to forget who he is.
Oh, child, let me tell you, I would hate to have to be on that Grey Goose with him, having to listen to all them other inmates.
No way. No. I'll pass. No.
Oh, I can tell you now, I'd probably I'd be having that shotgun in my hand. I'd be racking that sucker almost every minute, like I'm about to. Y'all shut up.
Boom. I don't know. I think Daryl too, when the judge wanted him to go back to his cell, you know why I think he really didn't want to go? Because here he is. He's got to be marched in there with the suit, tie, go into his cell, get what he's got to get, and get pretty much mouth raped the whole way there and the whole way back. Those inmates probably scream at him,
don't say the R word,
yell at him. I mean, he's got movement. Everybody's watching him out their little window. When they come get him, everybody just busts to the doors. They start looking through the windows, and they got him. They know how to deal with him. All they needed, one person's going to get the one chance, and he's going to be dead. Somebody will kill him. I'm swearing to you.
Yeah, ixnay on the R word, eh?
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, YouTube already skinned me. You know that thing I did yesterday? That's okay. You know the thing I did yesterday? Am I on mute? Am I muted? No. Okay. That thing yesterday that I did on Sarah Boone, I was on top of that. And I was like one of the first ones to get on top of what was going on as far as her court hearing yesterday.
Yes, you were.
And freaking YouTube last night, at some point last night, or maybe it was this morning, freaking limited my monetization on that thing, and I'm now having to wait for it to be reviewed. And it sucks because
What?
it's like they keep doing that to all of us. They
Why?
keep doing that. I don't know. And 9 times out of 10, every time I have to get it reviewed, it comes out to where they're like, "Oh, okay, this one's okay." Okay, but for 3 days when the video was new and everybody was watching it, you've demonetized me. The most popular time that people view the video. Oh, don't get me started, you guys. I'm so mad with YouTube right now.
Oh, I know.
So,
Gotta love that YouTube algorithm bot. That thing, I better shut up before I say something bad.
Yeah. Or else
and
we have to just make up little code words.
I don't know how I feel about the shorts either though, because I like to use the shorts as like trailers to get people to come to my channel.
I like
But
your shorts.
do you? Well, thank you. But do you? You know, you would be one that would come and watch a video after watching a short. But I wonder how many people are just in there to watch the shorts, just to be flipping through shorts for the entertainment purposes of just watching something quick. I don't know how many people it really brings over. But yeah.
Well,
Don't get
I
me
don't
lying.
know.
What did Matt said? John, you haven't said anything. Half of us already said here. Smiles.
What?
What you mean? What you
What
mean,
you
Matt
talking about?
Cannon? What you talking about, Matt Cannon? I don't think he's being mean. He's being funny.
Where is it?
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it very, very clean on air so I don't get Carrie in trouble.
Yeah,
But now,
I did really good today.
oh yeah, now if this was an unfiltered, let it all hang out kind of talk, oh believe you me, I'd be cussing like a French sailor with Tourette syndrome. I
Me
ain't even gonna
too.
lie to you. This is
It's
probably the longest
usually-
I've ever went without cussing.
Yeah, me too.
Well, we could do a members only maybe one night and I'll do an off monetization, and then we could do it that way. That's one way to let you guys let it all hang out.
Oh, you gonna want to strangle me then, especially if I start telling some of my prison stories. You gonna want to choke me in a heartbeat then with my yapper.
Yeah, me too.
But you have to remember, most of the subscribers, it's our geriatric Baptist convention is what they like. I think that's what Barbara Seals calls it, or it might be Patty that calls it that. I think that was so funny. All right, let's talk about sending money, mail, property to an inmate. It says that they can get mail, they can get envelopes and packages, must be labeled with the inmate's full name on it, blah, blah, blah. I guess this is just like people can cash pay today, affiliate walk-in providers, cash pay today. Can they not? There's got to be an online way to send them money, right? The jails have set that up, I'm sure.
They've been using that system for a long time.
They have a daily limit of $2,900.
Yeah.
I know. I remember back in the day, the only way you could send money to an inmate was through a money order, and they would put that money on his books and everything.
It didn't. It was like not instantaneously either. Took them a while to get it sometimes, and they get mad. But they're the ones that ran out of money. That's another thing. Commissary, man. I'll tell you what, them days are crazy. You find out who's got the money, who's the drug people when it comes to commissary. You know who's king when it comes to that.
Oh, every dormitory, every prison in the U.S., possibly, well, I don't know about the world, but I'm just going to say in the U.S., every single dormitory that houses multiple inmates always has a store, man. Every single one. And that dude be selling his stuff like even higher markup costs in the commissary, because a lot of times he sells it to the guys that can't get commissary because they got not so much they don't have the money.
Family won't help them. There's a lot of reasons.
Right, so he's selling it for higher costs. Like that pack of cigarettes, like let's say it's $10 for a pack of cigarettes in the prison. I'm just throwing a number out there. He's selling his for like $20.
$40. These days, I bet it's a lot more than that, John Bo, because you know what? Cigarettes are so expensive and people have to smuggle them in. I bet they pay out the butt for those.
Oh, yeah.
Because see, that like when they send the money, you know, a lot of people send money to a person. Like, okay, say if John Bub was in there and I'm in trouble, so my friends would send money to John Bub and then John Bub would buy my commissary. I don't know how much that happens anymore, but back in my day, it was a huge thing, you know, loading someone's books for them. I don't know if you can do that anymore.
Well, it says in here that like they offer a package, like a personal care package for, you know, toiletries, I guess, and whatnot.
Sure.
Now it says that and I know you guys know all this stuff, but for those of us who do not, I'm going to kind of go over it a little bit. But it looks like you can do like a monthly or quarterly thing. But here it says that they have to be in Gen Pop in order to receive such a thing. So, Casey, you weren't here when we were talking about this. Do you think he's in restrictive housing?
Yes.
Okay, so he's not able to get any of that.
He's not allowed to get any of that, remember? All his money, 50% of his money, he doesn't get. Because what
No,
the
I'm.
judge,
But
when it
this is
comes,
talking
right?
about. Yeah, but this is talking about like if his mom wanted to send something to the jail or
Well,
buy his packages of. If this is like sanitary stuff.
okay.
If memory serves me right, how they would set that up, he cannot get stuff out from the outside. Like he can't get shampoo, soap, or stuff from the outside. It's strictly got to be from the commissary or what's the issue to him by the facility. And what they usually issue you from the facility, it might be like those little hotel soaps, basically. That itty bitty little bar. You use it one time, it's done, pretty much. So you'd be having to like try to recycle that as much as you can.
I wonder what that stuff costs. I wonder how much they jack up the prices on it.
A lot. A lot, because, I know that, I don't know, bonds and all that kind of stuff, you learn what people do and don't. I kind of spaced out what we were talking about for a second. My internet just went beep.
Yeah, basically, it's more expensive in prison than it is on the street because
Yeah.
prison's they're gonna want to make their money back anyways because it's basically it is a profit business, for profit place especially, especially if you get a private prison. Oh God, those are just man.
Like
It,
body
go
wash
ahead.
that we would pay like 99 cents for now, they pay about $8-9 for it. Like something cheap. Suave, isn't that
Yeah.
body wash? Well, they'd have to pay about $10-11 for something like that.
Okay, I like that.
Commissary is really expensive now, especially for like wanting your own.
Good.
But personal from the prison, you might get a toothbrush that the bristles will fall out of it. You might get a little black comb. I'm not all sure what they give you anymore. John Bubba, do you? They don't give toothpaste.
Vaguely, I know. Depends on the facility as well. I know. When I worked at Angola, what they would give you is they would give you the one toothbrush. That's like the cheapest little brush you can get.
Yeah, like a hospital toothbrush.
Right. One tube of toothpaste, one little thing of soap, a towel, one pillow, the state issued mattress, state issued pillow, of
One
course.
sheet, one blanket.
One sheet, one blanket. Uh, let's see, the one pillowcase as well. And one holy book of whatever you choose, of whatever your faith is.
Daryl is the book. The book.
Oh yeah, and I guarantee. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good, hon. Bruiser's getting restless. Okay, so we've been on for over 2.5 hours, so I'm gonna go ahead and start to close out for the night. I'm gonna let you guys have your last couple things y'all want to talk about.
Go ahead, Casey. I'll let you go first.
Oh gee, I don't know.
You
better go first, John Bubba.
Yeah, you go first, John Bubba.
All right. All I was gonna say is mainly I just know Darnisha, I guarantee if he ever does land in that Gen Pop, and let's say it's a few years down the road, he actually does hit it where he thinks, hopefully he thinks, or in his mind, hopefully everybody's forgot about him. There's gonna be people that'll remember him, and it's gonna be war up in there to see who gets to him first. But from what I hear through the grapevine, like I was mentioning earlier, it's either going to be the Bloods that get him first, or it might even be Hispanic gangs that get him too, because some Hispanic people were hurt in the parade. So from what I hear, Hispanic gangs, they got KOS orders on him, like on the spot.
I think a lot of people do. Like I say, it's just going to take him one person to be in a little bit of the right time. That's all it's going to take. They'll be a martyr. They'll be famous for taking out Daryl Brooks.
Oh, the person that makes their bones taking him out, man, he's gonna be a prison celebrity, man. I mean, they gonna be like, shoot, he gonna have all that juice. Whenever he walks up in the day room, they gonna be like, yo, man, you want to watch TV? Oh man, what you want to watch, bro? It's all you.
I want him to suffer a little bit, though. I think he needs to suffer more before that happens. I'm sorry. Why'd y'all get quiet?
Oh, I don't blame you. Oh, I don't blame you. Shoot, I wouldn't mind. Heck, shoot. Hopefully, before they decide to take him out, he gets married up to that dude Rhino that I told, or the guy like him or something, and he gets to be introduced to the pet dinosaur.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. I want him to be. I'm sorry. That's just, and that's not a very Christian thing to say, but it's a lot of people. Oh, Casey's internet's going in and out. If you want to come back up again, Casey, you can. Um, okay. So Janice, thank you again, honey, for your super chat. She said, "Carrie, read Tony's description of Brooks is being removed from the W." Tony, what did you hear? Tony's got a friend in the sheriff's office, I guess. The sheriff I know is a pretty tough guy, and they had a dog. He said Brooks looked very scared, and all the officers were in SWAT gear. Let me
I
see.
remember hearing about that. That whenever
What?
he was getting moved, I think he was getting moved from Milwaukee to Dodge itself. They had him in a van or one of those big SWAT vehicles, something like that. And they had the guys in full tactical kit, ready to roll. More for for Darnisha's protection. I don't know why I called him by his real name. He's Darnisha always. Uh, More for Darnisha's protection than they were for theirs, because they knew he wasn't about nothing. But in case somebody wanted to do something, they were fully kitted up, had the dog and everything. And from what I hear, I believe it was Tony that straight up said it himself. Like, yeah, that dude was like shaking like a leaf on a tree in a hurricane. That's how scared he was.
So that was the first time he was moved. That wasn't this. That wasn't Tuesday. This past Tuesday when he was moved over to this new facility.
It's possible they did the same thing too. More than likely, if they did have a high level transport like that, they probably would have the attack team fully kitted and ready to go. More for his protection than theirs, because while he ain't gonna do nothing, somebody might try to do something to him, and they might hurt officers trying to hurt him. You know.
Okay, so Tony, answer. Hey, are you talking about that was the move from Waukesha to Dodge? Okay, yeah, that's what I was just going to ask you. Okay, thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. Thanks for the information.
I'm just curious what kind of dog it was. I just wonder if it was a German Shepherd or if it was maybe a Belgian Malinois. God, I can't pronounce that word.
Malinois.
That's him. I just wonder if it was either one of them, because God, it'd be hilarious if it was something like a Cane Corso.
He may not be scared of women, but he'd be scared of that dog staring at him and growling. I'd love it. I'd love it.
Carrie, I'm 6'2" and I'm 225 pounds, and let me tell you this, I'm scared of them big old dogs. All right, let me tell you. I mean, I don't want to mess with one of them sons of guns. That thing's just about as big as I am, especially that Cane Corso.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But you know what? Yeah, but he hasn't met my chihuahuas. You're absolutely right, Matt Cannon. But he would be scared of a chihuahua. But chihuahuas are bad, man. They're badasses. Might be a small bite, but it's a tough one. If you've ever been snipped by a chihuahua before, you will know. So
I can't stand them little dogs.
oh my, yeah, a lot of chihuahuas are nippers. I've had a lot. That's what I did when I was in rescue. I took a lot of mean chihuahuas in and rehabbed them and stuff. Okay, so let me ask you guys this. Or let me say this as we close out here. I lost my train of thought because I gotta stop looking at the chat because I get my ADHD kicks in. Do you think we're gonna want to talk one more time about him being transported right to and from the facility for court? I just feel like every time they transfer a prisoner, just like Tony said, you know, you got the SWAT guys out there, you got to get the dog out there. It's people, it's time, it's a lot of money. It costs money to do that, and it's also dangerous because there could be an escape plan. There could be something like that. So for me, I just feel like it's not going to be one of those things where they would want to be transferring. I mean, they would only transfer him one time. They would transfer him for the purpose of the trial, leave him there while the trial's going on, and then bring him back, right? But still, that's 2 transports. That's high risk. Am I correct?
Yeah, that'd be very expensive, because I mean, let's just say, all right, I believe Tony said it was like 5 guys. All right, let's just go with 5 officers, okay? All right, you got 1 driver, then you got the 4 in reserve as well. All right, let's say each one's getting paid. I'm just gonna throw a number out there. Let's say $20 an hour, okay? All right. So
Okay.
let's just say All right, and let's say it's about a 3-hour trip to transport him. So that's 20 times 5. All right, that's 200, and then you've got, let's say it's a 3-hour trip, so then you add the 3 hours worth. Then you've also got the cost of the fuel for the vehicle and everything, and those things ain't exactly the most cost effective when it comes to gas mileage. Let me tell you that right now. So they would have to stop for fuel and everything. Let's see. You could be easily looking at one trip. I'm just going to throw a number because I'm too lazy to do all the proper math. Let's just say $600 just to take him on one trip. All right. Uh, Probably more because I'm just too lazy to do all the proper math. So forgive me, everybody. So let's just say $600 to take him on the one trip. All right. To the court. Then you got to house him. Then you got to hold him and everything. Let's say they keep him there at the Milwaukee jail while he's doing that trial. All right. Then you still got to house him in that facility. Still got to feed him. Still got to provide medications and everything. That's going to cost as well. Then you got the cost of the trial itself. Once the trial's over, then they got to take him back to that prison. So there's about another, let's say, $600 to $1,000 right there. Altogether, you're looking at maybe about 15, maybe let's say 15 grand just for those crimes.
Yeah,
So
Casey said
yeah,
around $1,200. She was thinking, yeah. Yeah, and
yeah.
that's just too because they wouldn't be doing it daily. Obviously, they would be doing it for, okay, let's get him down there when the trial starts and then we'll bring him back or whatever. But yeah, this just doesn't make sense. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to go in to figure some things out about how we're going to be streaming this. So because even if I do feel like with Milwaukee is going to be covering it, there's going to be a news station in Milwaukee that'll be covering his trial, but I want to have a backup plan, and so I'm going to be researching some of that before then. But that doesn't come up until May, and this little son bitch is going to go to trial. Excuse my language, Mama. He's going to go to trial when I'm going to be trying to get my son at the pool because that's I can't wait till the summertime. I hate winter. So I'm going to have to that's just not going to be good, but I'll be here. And I wonder how many days a trial like this would last. I don't, you're not talking about a ton of witnesses, right?
I'm more than likely that might be like a 2, maybe 3 days at the most, and that's really pushing it.
You think
More
so?
than likely, it ain't gonna take too long. I mean, if memory serves me right, the charges that he's looking at in Milwaukee right now, uh, intimidation of a witness, and I think there's also DV as well. Uh, those are the main two that pop into my head. I can be wrong if there's more, but yeah, it's not going to be too long.
I don't
It might
think
be
so
like,
either. Yeah.
yeah, it might be 2 to 3 days tops, and that's really pushing it. But now if he decides he wants to start acting a fool, well, they'll just mute his butt and probably just continue in absence and everything, and all this. They'll probably just bring him back like when it comes time for a jury or something. But then again, he might take a plea deal before then. But
Nah.
I doubt that. I doubt that.
He's not going to do that. He is not going to do that. Laura said, "I'll go up there and watch it for you if you want me to." Laura, the thing is that even if you were allowed to get in there, they're not going to let you do any kind of cameras or anything. That all has to be approved. So I feel like we're gonna be watching it on Zoom if we want to see him anyway. So I'll go ahead and have that set up and ready and going. All right. Well, John Bubba, thank you so much for being here with me again this evening. We always love your commentary and your education. And thank you again, Casey, for being here and giving us all this back what do I call jail yard info on what's going on in the prison system and what old boys looking at back there.
I know private talk, Gary. Just try to do my best.
Well, I appreciate you, honey, and you stay safe, and I will see you for sure. If I don't see you before then, I will see you at the next Brooks Holics meeting that we have here, which we're gonna try to have at least one a week. Okay, guys.
Oh, good deal. Cause I gotta have my fix. I've been addicted now. I just gotta have my fix.
I know, and I know sometimes I just feel like y'all come for the free donuts and coffee, but that's just me, But okay.
Hey, now, just because I get my fix of my Brooks and I get my fix of my donut and my coffee, especially with extra jelly.
All right, everyone. Y'all have a blessed weekend, and I'm on the fence as to whether or not we're going to come on for the Super Bowl tomorrow night. I might end up having to go to I might have to go socialize with people. I really don't want to, but I might have to. So I don't know if I'm going to be on, but I don't like to do Sundays because it's the Sabbath, but it's Super Bowl Sunday, and I thought if people hate football, they might want to get together on here and chat. So we'll see. I don't know. No promises. Good night, everybody. Have a
Y'all have a
blessed
good
one.
now.
See you later.
Like,
Bye.